Chinese media has taken aim at Defence Minister or Commander Richard Marles, saying he is no better than his predecessor, Peter Dutton. Joining us live now is the Labor MP Peter Khalil. So these are interesting and quite funny comments that have come from the mouthpiece from the Chinese regime. Peter, good morning to you. Yeah, so Richard Marles is called the forward theatre commander, no different to Dutton. By frustrating the Global Times, doesn't that mean you're on the right track?
Mate, Pete, good morning. I was going to say, you said it. Does anyone even believe the Global Times? It is a mouthpiece for the Chinese Communist Party. I reckon that journo who wrote it is a pretty deep misunderstanding of how our political system works. That's half the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
But look, those comments are taken for what they are. They're ridiculous. What we've been doing as a government, and the Minister for Defence has had a meeting with his counterpart, the Chinese Defence Minister, which is significant because it's the first one in 3 years. Our Foreign Minister has met with their Foreign Minister, Wang, first time in 3 years. So there's first steps in stabilising the relationship, and I wouldn't take much notice from the Global Times. I don't even think people in China take much notice of the Global Times.
Well, I mean, they talk about ties being repaired, but ties have not been repaired. Don't you think there's this weird kind of passive-aggressive thing going on with China since you were elected?
Look, I think what needs to happen, frankly, is, and this is, the ball is very much in China's court, so to speak, to use the tennis jargon. They need to lift the trade sanctions, the trade barriers. They need to release Australians held in arbitrary detention, and that will be a significant step forward in the relationship. We are open, as we should be, to having a mutually beneficial relationship. It's economically important for both of our countries and advantageous. And we've taken those first steps to stabilise the relationship. That's what we want to see. We want to cool the temperature down. And so that they, obviously have to consider what needs to happen for the next step to be taken.
They need to make the changes. We don't, right? I mean, it's not like we're not going to overturn the Huawei thing. We're not going to change the rules around foreign ownership or foreign investment. So that's just how it is. The changes need to come from their side.
Yeah, well, look, as the Prime Minister said, Pete, very recently, we're not responding to any demands. Yeah. We will do what is in Australia's national interest, and that's what we've been doing. And as the PM has said, China has changed. That's been a significant shift over the last 5 years. We're trying to stabilise that relationship now, and that those first steps are important. First steps, frankly, for the Minister for Defence and the Minister for Foreign Affairs to have their first meetings with their counterparts in 3 years. That's a significant first step towards stabilising. But yes, we would like to see China take a decision to remove those trade barriers and also some movement on the release of Australians held in detention in China.
When that was raised by Penny Wong, I mean, do you know how... Has word filtered through to you at all on how that was received? Is China receptive to that? Are they open to at least doing that when it comes to Chang'e?
Well, that's a bit above my pay grade, Pete. You're the journo. You should be investigating that. But look, in all seriousness, and it is a very serious issue, Cheng Li and Dr. Yan, to name two Australians who are detained in China, it was very significant that our Foreign Minister raised it directly with the Chinese Foreign Minister. It's a very significant thing to do that, an important thing to do that, because there has been some real concern. Cheng Li's family and Dr. Yang's family and all Australians, frankly, don't want to see the situation that they're in. By the way, I should say there are many other Australians detained overseas. There's another case in Iraq, Robert Peter, who is in an Iraqi jail. That's a significant case, and I know our Prime Minister has spoken to the Iraqi Prime Minister on that, and we need some movement on that. And there are many other Australians like Sean Turnell, who's in Myanmar, held by the military junta. So we're working very assiduously and very, these are hard situations, complicated situations, to try and help those Australians.
Okay, just a couple of quick ones before we go, Pete. There's more warnings this morning over gas supplies in Victoria, in your state. Are you expecting AEMO to intervene again?
Well, look, there's obviously somewhat of a perfect storm in energy markets at the moment. And look, this has been undermined by, frankly, chaos in policy for the last decade. And, you'll say the previous government did know that prices were going to go up on the 1st of July, and they hid that information from the public. That's really important to note. And we've had a shortage of gas. We've got 3 times higher usage in winter. It's pretty cold down here in Melbourne, as you know. We've got 3 times usage of normal usage. We've got booming exports, which has happened. And we've, of course, got the sanctions on Russia, which has squeezed gas supply globally on top of everything else. So it's kind of a perfect storm. And, of course, you guys in New South Wales, you don't produce gas, so you've drawn on Victorian supplies as well. So that's had an impact. I've got to say the Energy Minister and the Albanese government did hit the ground running. And on the short term, they work, obviously hand in glove with states and industry around the rebates. It's a difficult period, so encouraging people to take up those energy rebates to relieve the pressure, to get that temporary relief. But there is a medium and long-term policy, work that has to be done around getting more energy into the market, more cheaper energy into the market, more renewables into the market to relieve that pressure in the medium and long term.
OK, Peter Khalil, we'll have to leave it there. We'll talk to you again soon. Appreciate it.